Welcome to another solo episode of the Insight Podcast. So, these are shorter episodes where I share some thoughts around a topic. Now, quick disclaimer, they are off the cuff. They are just me waking up one morning, getting some thoughts down on paper, and then hitting record. So, sometimes the flow might not be on point, but I hope you understand that it's just me sharing something that I'm thinking about in the hope that it's useful to someone. With that said, today's solo episode, I want to talk about talking. Now, last month or so has reminded me that I'm still not great at recognizing when I need to talk more. And I forget that so many of my problems, imagined or real, can be helped when I open up. So this episode is a reminder to myself and perhaps a bit of a call to action for you as well to just keep talking. So why this topic for this episode? Well, after a couple of experiences recently, I was thinking how I've always found that the times when I'm feeling the most anxious or going through a period of low mood are the times when I'm just not talking enough and keeping things to myself. Maybe because I'm embarrassed to share, because I don't want to worry or burden other people, or because I don't think other people will understand. I mean, recently, I feel like I've let one of my best friends down by not communicating enough, not being there for him when perhaps he needed someone to talk to, not telling him what I've been going through as well. So just neglecting a friendship that's really important to me because I just didn't talk. And in the past, I remember living over in Spain and struggling because I wasn't telling anyone about what I was going through. I remember being in relationships and finding it difficult, but not wanting to tell other people for fear that that would be betraying the trust, of the partner. And in the past 3 years or so, there's definitely been times when I haven't felt myself, worried about the future, doubted myself, been talking unkindly to myself. And in all these instances, my problems, if not solved, were certainly alleviated when I opened up and told friends, told family, or even when I decided it got to the point where I should go and talk to my GP. The thing is, it's really difficult, isn't it, when you're in the mixer of those emotions of anxiety, doubt, and shame. You really don't feel like you can talk to anyone. Sometimes you just can't think straight. Your logical brain has switched down, and the simple solution of Sam, just go and talk to someone, doesn't compute. Or I find that sometimes your mind is just in overdrive and can't find the space to pause and direct itself to that sensible solution of getting support, getting some help from someone. And I think when this happens and you're in the midst of a really tough time and feeling isolated, you just have to remember that talking to someone will help. Remember that in the past, when you've been in that situation and opened up to someone, it has helped. You have to get over any embarrassment you might have and trust that people are there to help. And I think you have to act straight away as well and reach out to someone to stop yourself from spiraling. Don't delay and think, well, I'll just see if this passes and maybe I can just deal with it myself. Because I don't know about you, but I found all of a sudden a whole day has passed, a week has passed, even a month has passed by where you've spent a lot of time stressing or feeling angry or feeling down. And it's just not a way to live at all. And this is what I'm trying to remind myself, that talking to the people around me is just so essential. That so much angst, sadness, doubt, worry, etc. is soothed when I talk to someone. And that piece about kind of like the time that's wasted, I just think so much time has been wasted when I could have gotten out of the funk that I was in so much more quickly if I'd have just shared, if I'd have just told that person what I was really thinking, if I'd have just explained the situation. So I really hope that anyone listening that is going through something has someone they can talk to, a friend, family member or a colleague. But I also realize that some people don't have that. And if you feel like that's you and you don't have anyone to talk to, remember that there are other options as well. Whether that's through your workplace, maybe through your doctor, talking to your GP, or calling charities like Samaritans, Mind, Shout, and there are others out there as well, aren't they, that offer advice, or simply just someone that will listen to you get some things off your chest. It pains me to think about the people that are suffering alone. No one should have to suffer alone. It's a really horrible feeling when you're isolated and keeping things to yourself, and that feeling of something just sitting there on your chest or in your stomach, or that kind of dark cloud hanging over you that you think isn't going to pass anytime soon. I know that feeling. I know what it's like to be going over and over and over thoughts in my head, or having this kind of tension build up inside me that I don't know how to release, and it's just sitting there constantly. It's a horrible feeling. It's really not nice. So if you are going through that, or if you ever go through that, just know that you're not alone, that lots of us have those periods. All of us have those periods, perhaps. We've all been through that thing that you think is completely unique to you, that you are too ashamed of or embarrassed to share, worried that no one will understand it, because there are people out there who have been through the exact same thing. There are people out there who do understand. There are people out there who can help. So yeah, as we said at the beginning of the episode, this is it's a reminder to myself, but it's a call to action as well to you, that if you're going through something, don't delay, talk it out. Okay, that's my bit on talking done. As I say, as my disclaimer said, it can be a bit up and down, all over the place, may not flow as well as I like to, but I'm still learning how to do this. And also, I just like hitting record and getting my thoughts out there as quickly as possible. So I hope it's been useful. I hope it's been a bit inspirational. I hope it's been something that has helped someone out there. But one other thing to round off the episode on the topic of going through a bit of a rough patch. Over the last few weeks, I feel like I've, my confidence has taken a bit of a hit. I've had some frustrations with the podcast, with some people in my life. Some of my motivation and focus has waned. And to be honest, I've felt like, have I made the right decision? What am I going to do with the podcast? Maybe it's time to quit, or maybe even if not to quit, at least press pause for a while. But it's funny because, and this has happened before, right when I start feeling like this, I get some messages come through that give me a boost and remind me why I should keep going with what I'm doing and yeah, press on. I mean, I had a very nice comment recently from a friend about the latest episode on shame with James Oliver. She said how shame is something she struggles with, and so found the episode really useful, and how she enjoys the show. Also, I met a friend's sister last week. We got talking about some of the frustrations I'm having with other people and wondering whether it's time to stop the podcast. And she was really kind, offered some supportive words, reminding me that the show is making a difference to people, even if it's not always obvious, and, reminded me not to be disheartened and to keep going with it. And then I received this long email from someone that I've never met before who listens to the show. And she wrote to me about how she'd listened to episode number 140 on sleep. And then from that had made some changes and is now sleeping better. But then also how this then kind of set off a chain reaction of good habits. She started meditating regularly. She started looking at the food that she was eating, and her food cravings had reduced. She started getting more active and is now starting Couch to 5K. And it's like, oh, wow, this is literally what I've talked about in the past, about how what I want the show to be about, how a conversation like the conversations I hope I'm having on the podcast can spark something in someone, which can then lead to other positive changes, which then lead to someone feeling happier and healthier. And she kind of signed off by saying she'd gone from feeling really down and helpless about her health to now feeling much more positive, and how grateful she was to me and for the show. And I was like, oh, wow. I mean, I got teared up reading it, and it was just what I needed to read. The timing of it was just spot on to give me that little shake up I needed. Yeah, I'm doing something good here, and you might not always see the results, and it might be difficult at times, but when you get an email like that, it makes it worth it. So just to thank you, anyone out there that has messaged, that has sent an email, that has reviewed the show, has, I don't know, sent an episode or shared a video in their stories. I really, really appreciate it. It really means a lot, and it definitely does a lot to keep me motivated. So thank you. Cool. Right. That's enough from me. I'm going to get out of here. It is Bank Holiday Monday. I hope you've enjoyed your Bank Holiday weekend. And yeah, have a great week. I will be coming back with a brand new guest on the show very soon. Okay. See you then.